Hello and welcome to Easy English, where we make your journey of learning English easier. Today's podcast conversation topic: Stop thinking, start talking.
Welcome to Stop Thinking, Start Talking, the podcast where we help you break free from overthinking and start speaking English confidently. I'm Alex.
And I'm Mia. In today's episode, we'll talk about how to stop hesitating and start speaking English naturally. Plus, we have a special guest, Rahul, who will share his journey.
If you've ever struggled with fear, doubt, or embarrassment while speaking English, this episode is for you. Let's get started.
Why do we overthink while speaking English? So, Alex, let's talk about why people hesitate when speaking English.
Absolutely. Many people overthink because they're afraid of making mistakes. They worry about grammar, pronunciation, or what others might think.
Yeah, right. And this fear stops them from practicing, which actually slows down their progress.
Exactly. But the truth is, mistakes are a natural part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes.
That's so true. When kids learn their first language, they don't overthink. They just speak. But as adults, we become self-conscious.
Yeah. And another reason for overthinking is translating from one's native language. If you keep translating in your head, it slows you down.
So, the key is to think in English. But how can we do that? Practical tips to start speaking without overthinking.
Okay, so let's break this down. How can someone stop overthinking and start talking?
First tip: speak without worrying about grammar. Just focus on communication.
Yes. Many people hesitate because they want perfect grammar. But fluency comes before accuracy.
Exactly. What's more important, saying a perfect sentence, or actually being understood?
Being understood, of course.
Another great tip: surround yourself with English. Listen to English podcasts, watch movies, and talk to yourself in English.
Oh, I love that one. Talking to yourself in English really helps with thinking in English.
Absolutely. I do this when I cook or drive. Just describing what I'm doing in English.
Nice. And another tip: use simple words. Don't try to sound fancy. If you don't know a word, explain it in a different way.
Yes. This is called circumlocution. If you don't know the word refrigerator, just say the thing that keeps food cold.
That's such a great technique. Nice. And another tip: use simple words. Don't try to sound fancy. If you don't know a word, explain it in a different way. Guest story: Rahul's journey to confidence.
Now let's bring in our special guest, Rahul. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Alex and Mia. Thanks for having me. We're excited to hear your story. So, tell us, what was your biggest struggle with speaking English? Oh, I used to be terrified of speaking English. In school, I always thought I needed perfect grammar before I could speak.
That's such a common fear. What changed for you?
Well, one day, I met a foreign tourist in my city. I wanted to help, but I was so nervous. I tried, and even though my English wasn't perfect, the tourist understood me. That's amazing. That's when you realized communication is more important than perfection. Exactly. After that, I started practicing daily. I listened to English music, repeated phrases, and even recorded myself speaking.
Wow. That's such a great way to improve. How do you feel about speaking English now?
Much more confident. I still make mistakes, but I don't care anymore. The most important thing is, I keep talking. That's inspiring.
Fun speaking exercise. Rapid fire challenge. Okay, let's do a quick rapid fire challenge to help listeners practice speaking without thinking too much.
Rahul, are you ready? Let's do it.
I'll ask you a question and you answer as fast as you can. No overthinking. What did you have for breakfast?
Eggs and toast.
If you could visit any country, where would you go?
Japan. Great job. See how quickly you answered. Yeah, that was fun.
Listeners, try this at home. Answer questions fast. Don't stop to think. Final tips and takeaways.
All right, before we wrap up, let's summarize today's key points.
Number 1. Don't wait for perfect grammar. Speak first, improve later.
Number 2. Think in English. Stop translating in your head.
Number 3. Surround yourself with English. Listen, speak, and even talk to yourself.
Number 4. Use simple words and explain if you don't know a word.
And finally, practice daily. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference.
Rahul, any final advice for our listeners? Yes. Stop waiting, stop thinking, just start talking. Even if you make mistakes, keep going. Confidence comes with practice.
Such great advice. Thanks so much for joining us today, Rahul.
Thank you. This was fun. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Stop Thinking, Start Talking.
If you found this helpful, subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends.
See you next time. Until then, keep speaking.